Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about the various aspects of the local government in London Borough of Barking and Dagenham with our distinguished guest today, Leader of the Council, Darren Rodwell. Darren, three things: crime, housing, and education, or rather health and education. How are you tackling the crime? I know the crime rates have gone down. I was looking at the figures of March 2015 and the figures of March 2016. In some of the fields, crime rate has gone down, but in other areas it's almost the same. See. At least it's not increased.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult, to be honest. Crime is normally committed by people that don't want to be social. Right. They don't want to be part of the community. So it's about teaching people how, what the community expects of them. Now, we're lucky in Barking and Dagenham. In London, we're the 5th safest London borough. Yeah. In East London, we're the safest London borough. So in that respect, I'm really pleased. But there's certain things, as you mentioned, domestic violence, violence within the home, that's still too high.
And it can take many shapes.
And it can take many shapes, absolutely. There's verbal abuse, there's physical abuse, there's sexual abuse, emotional abuse. So there's some really serious issues there we've got to try and tackle. And that is our largest crime. But it's something that's very difficult to deal with, but that's where we hope, by bringing the community together, people looking out for one another, and if they see something that's wrong, that they do talk to the agencies that are there to support people that are vulnerable, and that's what we're trying to do.
Does housing and education contribute to crimes?
I believe so. I believe so, because if people don't have enough in their home, so if they don't have enough food to eat because they haven't got the job, because they haven't got the education, well, that will then link into crime. All linked. So that's why building these 35,000 homes are really important. That's why improving.
These 35,000 homes will be built over how many years?
Probably about 15 to 20 years. So we've already built. Probably in the last couple of years we've built about 3,000 homes already, and we're looking to work with partners to make sure we build a lot more as quickly as possible.
But the population is not going to keep still, it will be increasing.
It will.
How will you manage that?
Well, we are managing it. So if you look at the schools across London, we gave first choice school places in primary and secondary. We're the highest in London, despite the fact of all the challenges, despite all the changes we've got going on. We are very good at managing change, because we've had a massive change, the biggest demographic change in the country, with the highest population, youth population in the country. So it's about managing it and getting people to understand how we can work together to improve these things. So that's what we're doing.
Education, and you mentioned that there is a variety of number of ethnic communities. Are you doing something to help them learn their own language and not forget their own languages, like native languages like Bangladeshi, or learning Bengali, the Somalians and the others?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, in a lot of our schools, we don't need to do that. What we need to do is help them learn English. So we have the two largest primary schools in the country, and both of them are good to outstanding. And the largest one has 89 different languages. So what we've got to try and do is make sure that everyone has a common language, and the common language is English. So it's about linking that together. Right. At the same time, I know our local mosque, which has been recognised as being the most community-minded mosque in the country by government. I met the Home Secretary there, and I was really pleased to be part of that meeting. They do all the additional schooling, if you like, of culture, which is really, really important. And I want people to understand where they come from, because it's really important. If you know your past, if you know your history, you know what you stand for today, and you know where you want to go to tomorrow. And that's what we try and do as the borough. Because East London has always changed. It's got every culture in it that brings all new things to that community.
It's the gateway, and people are coming in all the time.
They are
then moving out.
Yes. Well, the funny thing is now, Tower Hamlets is so expensive
Yes.
that we're like the Whitechapel of the 1930s in Barking and Dagenham because we're the cheapest part of London. So actually, we find that a lot of
The house
immigration.
prices must be much lower than the national average.
It is. It is. Well, London average. London average at the moment is about £500,000.
Yeah.
In Barking and Dagenham, it's 300,000.
Yes.
It's still expensive to an average Londoner.
Right.
So it's about trying to get a balance because there's a lot of people that if we don't get the house prices right, if we don't get that home right, then we can't get the teachers, we can't get the social workers, we can't get the nurses and the doctors.
What sort of rate or numbers would you have as homeless people in your borough?
We've done really well in dealing with homelessness. We've got a number of old people units that we didn't need anymore, so we've converted them into temporary accommodation. The issue we have is it's what government says we're allowed to do, and unfortunately the government's making it very hard for all local authorities to adhere to supporting the most vulnerable, and we have a real issue. If you're a single person, actually there's very little we can do for you today, and that's really a shame because I always believe that the society is only as good as the poorest people in it, the most vulnerable people in it, and the government's policy at the moment is making it very difficult.
Are
for
these
councils
homeless
to support.
people from the borough, or are there people coming from outside?
Mainly from people from outside. Again, what's happened is across London, because we are the cheapest, we find that other London boroughs send people to our borough, and then again that puts more drain on our services. But by and large, we're keeping abreast of all those issues, and we're finding new ways to try and support vulnerable people. And when we can't, we're honest about it. We'll say, sorry, there's no support that we can give you, but we'll find secondary support. So in the voluntary sector, you'll find that lots of voluntary groups are coming out now and delivering services that once the council would deliver, but with the cuts we've had, we can't deliver them anymore.
Right. What sort of unemployment do you have in the borough? I mean, like people on benefit?
Yeah, well, there's quite a lot of people.
Unemployment
Yeah,
benefit.
there's quite a lot of people on benefit. We've got about a 10% unemployment rate. But we've got lots of people on low wages, so they get working tax credits and child benefits and all those other benefits, because again we've got a lot of people that have had children.
Child benefits across the board, isn't it?
It used to be.
Even a millionaire is entitled.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore?
No, the government changed the rules, which is something that actually is a bit fairer. But again, working tax credits has been changed dramatically by this government, and it's made people worse off. So again, if we look at what's happened in the borough, we've had a lot of food banks start up, we've had a lot of food shelters start up, and it's great to see that the mosque, the Gurdwara that we've got, the churches, they're again producing hot food for people that need it. So we've had night shelters, they've come from the churches and other faiths, linking it all together to support vulnerable people.
Right. Moving from homelessness and unemployment and so many other problems, so let's look at what is the stage and how is the stage set for the elections. There's quite a number of elections coming up, see, and referendum.
There is, yes, yes. I mean, I'm really confident. Umesh Desai, who's the candidate for the party I'm in, obviously the Labour Party. I've known Umesh for a very long time. He was a very strong opposition person to the BNP, to the NF. He's been in East London for 20 plus years. I think he's a wonderful candidate, and I think he'll do City and East, which is our area that we belong to, so Tower Hamlets, City of London, Newham, and us in Barking and Dagenham. He'll represent all of us, so I think he'll do really well. And then Sadiq Khan, I think, is a wonderful candidate. I think Sadiq has shown his commitment to London. It's great to see again an immigrant family come in doing those basic jobs, and then he learns through the education system. He then goes and supports great you know, great institutions, gets himself into Parliament, and now wants to champion London as this great metropolis.
Yeah, I mean, in him I see, like people say, that American dream. I mean, this is the British dream. His father was a bus driver.
Yeah.
And Sadiq Khan became the transport secretary.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is fantastic.
Well, you've got the American dream, but I think what puts great into Great Britain is our diversity. What puts great into Great Britain is the ability for people to move on. And Sadiq absolutely typifies that. And I know him personally, and I know that he wants the best for every Londoner, and every Londoner who comes here, whether they're a Londoner for a day or for 100 years, he wants the best for them. And I'm really pleased that all of us are working, you know, for Sadiq to get him there to be mayor, and I think he'll make a fabulous mayor. And I'm really horrified by some of the tactics that have been going out about his extremist links and so on and so forth. That's just dirty politics.
Yeah.
In fact, that's Trump. That's Donald Trump in America's sort of attitude. And I don't like that, because actually talk about the man, about what he's done, and if you want to criticise, fine, criticise. But the truth is, they're not criticising him for what he's done. They're criticising him on links he may have had, which he certainly hasn't. And that shows that they've lost the campaign. That shows they've lost the argument. It's a bit like when you're at school.
But they say that, you know, everything is fair and in love and war.
Well, see, the problem is, why do people lose faith in politicians? It's because when they behave like this, it's like the school playground, isn't it? It's the bully and the bullied, and you know, I don't agree with that approach. I'd much rather people tell people.
I'll see you outside.
That's it. Got it in one. And, you know, we're a bit too old for that nowadays. You know.
What are your views on Britain remaining in the European Union or opting out of it? I mean, your leader. I am. He was on the other side, you see, but now he thinks that it's...
Well, I think what's really good is Jeremy Corbyn, as leader of the Labour Party, his personal view may be one thing, but he's agreeing with what the party has said. And that's people like me, that's like the other councillors, that's like all the activists. Collectively, we agreed as a party that we wanted to stay in. I think that's the right move. I've publicly said that in the local papers, in the national press. I've written letters to that effect. I've said it on radio, and I'm saying it on your show today. I think Europe is good for Britain. Again, it's good because of free movement. It's good because actually
even if we are losing 350 million every week.
But that's not true. I mean, I wish people would look. Unfortunately, again, it's politics, yeah? So, I mean, before, don't listen to the politicians. Look on Facebook, go on Twitter, go on Google.
My guest is a politician.
Well, I'm also a community champion. I much prefer a community champion, but I'm a person of the people, right? And what I would say to anyone, to any of your viewers today, right, is look on the internet and go and look at the economists. Go and look at those people whose job it is to work out what tomorrow is going to bring. And I read stuff 3-4 months ago where it was telling me that the GDP of this country would shrink by 4 to 6%. Now, to put that in perspective, the crash in 2008 was only a 2% GDP drop. So you imagine the big crash we had in 2008, you triple that, yeah? That's what that could mean if we left Europe. Now, that's not good for business, and if it's not good for business, it's not good for the engineers.
The time is up, and wedded to the idea of Europe, remaining in the Europe.
Yes.
We end the show on this point. Thank you very much for being with us. We hope that you've enjoyed the show as much as we have. Next time, next week, same channel, same time, on your television screen, on your mobile, online. We hope to see you again.